Welcome into the first episode of This Week in Alabama Alt Football, the only show that covers the Astros, the Stallions, the Beavers, the Rivergators, and the Commandos. The first set of news that we are getting into today is the Birmingham Stallions, who just came off of a playoff loss, but they have had four players go to the NFL this year. First, starting with kicker Harrison Mevis, who went 20 of 21 with a total of 90% of his field goals were made. He signed with the New York Jets of the NFL. He will compete with Caden Davis, who just came off of a career with Texas A&M and then Ole Miss. A really good kicker. He was a Lou Groza Award semifinalist, and he was also invited to the Senior Bowl. My predictions, I think my roster confidence in him, I have a 90%. Harrison Mevis was one of the best kickers in the UFL. He barely missed a field goal, and his only one that he missed was a pretty long one. I think it was over 60 yards, or it was over 55 yards, at least I know. So, I mean, he's been, to me, I believe that he should have been an all UFL kicker, but it went to Rodrigo Blankenship of the Battlehawks. And then the second player to sign with the NFL was cornerback Mario Goodrich. He only started 5 games due to injury this year, but he had 15 tackles, 4 PBUs, and a 66.3 PFF coverage grade. And then he will compete with Jaquan McMillan and Reese Taylor for the backup nickelback spots. And McMillan is on his 3rd season on the Broncos. He played all 17 games last year. He had a total of 81 tackles and 2 picks. And then Reese Taylor is on his 2nd year on the Broncos. He played in 1 game in 2024, did not record any stats in that game. And then my roster confidence is 15%. The cornerbacks is a very tough room, and especially with a new guy coming in like Mario Goodrich. I just don't know, especially with Jaquan McMillan being on his 3rd year, really having a kind of a breakout year last year for the Broncos. I don't know if he's going to make it. I have a little bit of hope that he can, but he's really going to have to find his way in the preseason to try to make this roster. And then the 3rd player to sign with the NFL is offensive lineman Barry Wesley, who signed with the New Orleans Saints. Barry started 9 games this year. He played both at guard and tackle this year due to all the injuries at our offensive line this year, as we all know as Stallions fans. He had a 74.9 PFF blocking grade, and then a couple of stats was he was an all-XFL guy in 2023. He played on the Atlanta Falcons in 2023 and 2024 on their practice squad, signed with the Stallions last, I'm pretty sure, October or during the offseason. But right now he's listed as the backup left tackle to Kelvin Banks Jr., their first-round pick. My roster confidence, 95%, is if he's already, without even a day on that team, he's already backing up an offensive lineman. He's not a third-stringer O-lineman. He's just a backup. I am at 95% confidence grade in Mr. Barry Wesley on making this roster. Plus, he has NFL roster experience with playing for the Falcons. And then our final player so far that got signed to the NFL was the Dallas Cowboys. We all know Brandon Aubrey. They signed Brandon Aubrey, former New Jersey Generals Cavante Turpin. They also signed. Now they're reaching their foot in the water again with defensive tackle Perion Winfrey, who was an all UFL defensive tackle in 2025 this past year. He had 29 tackles, 1 sack in 11 games. He started all 11. And then he will compete. So the Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle room is a pretty tough room to try. It's very loaded this year with Jay Toa, Denzel Daxton, and Tommy Akingbedesto for the 4th defensive tackle. My roster confidence, even though he has all these competition, I have a 70% confidence in him making this roster. There's a lot of unknown names on that defensive tackle room, but I really feel as if he can really separate himself, especially already warming up with this past year in the UFL and being a really good player for the Birmingham Stallions. And that's all the Stallions news that we have this week. The next team that we are going to be talking about today is the Alabama Beavers, who are technically 1-0. This week was supposed to be the Alabama Beavers' first game in team history, but the Baltimore Lightning, their opponent, ended up forfeiting. The Baltimore Lightning are not known for being the most reliable team. that is going to show up to games as they forfeited their first matchup against the Michigan Bills. So I guess our Alabama Beavers are 1-0 this year. Their next game will be June 28th at Racine, which is in Wisconsin, versus the Racine Raiders. But I mean, I guess we won, but we still haven't seen the team yet. So I guess that's all the Alabama Beavers news that we have this week. Very confusing situation with them and going an independent team this year. And that's it for all the Beavers news. Next up on the show, we have the Tri-City Rivergators, who are based out of Huntsville, Alabama. The Tri-City Rivergators play in the AAL2, and they made the playoffs as a number 3 seed, and they finished the year 2-6, kind of a rough end of the year after starting the year out pretty hot. But then the Rivergators will play the Mississippi Wolfpack in the first round, I think in 2 weeks, but we'll hit up on that next week to see the exact date. But the Rivergators will make the playoffs in their first year as a team. So congratulations to the Rivergators, and hopefully we can bring home an American Arena League 2 championship to Huntsville, Alabama. And our last team that we are going to be covering this week in Alabama Alt Football is the Huntsville Astros. The Huntsville Astros will play their first away game in team history against the Tampa Tornadoes on Sunday, June 22nd. This game was originally supposed to be the 21st, but then they rescheduled it to the 22nd. And then I can't really do a game preview of this game due to the Tampa Tornadoes playing in their first game. But the last time that we had a team that was in their first game, we beat the Tennessee Hornets 45-0 and advanced to 1-0. So I'm pretty confident that the Astros will hopefully bring home this dub back, as we have just home games for the rest of the year. And then the Astros will also be having a watch party at Jeffersons New Market in Huntsville at 6 o'clock for the game. So if you're in the area, make sure to show up and support the Astros. And then the address for that game, for the watch party, is 2190 Winchester Road Northeast, Suite B, Huntsville, Alabama 35811. And then also at the watch party, they're also going to have Astros cheerleaders will be at the game to come and support the team. So make sure, if you're in the area, pull up to the watch party, have a good time with fellow Astros fans and cheerleaders, and hopefully we have a game day atmosphere. That's all it for the Astros news, and hopefully we can bring home the dub and shoot into the stars for a potential championship. And that was all of our news for this week in Alabama Alt Football, episode number 1. Thank you guys all for watching, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe tell your buddies or friends about this channel to learn about some alt football. We're here to support the players, support the team, support the coaches, and also to support the fans of these teams. So that's all for this week in alt football. UFL Isaac out.